What if I told you there was a cybersecurity career path that pays well into the six figures, is in demand at basically every major company, doesn't require you to be a hacker, and most people trying to break in cybersecurity have never even heard of it? When people think about cybersecurity, they usually picture someone in a dark room, typing code, tracking down hackers, or performing penetration tests. But there's another side of cybersecurity that keeps companies running every single day, and that career is called IAM, Identity Access Management. Today I'm going to explain what IAM is, why companies desperately need IAM professionals, and why it might be one of the smartest career paths to pursue in 2026. If you're new here, my goal is to help everyday people transition into cybersecurity, even if you've never worked in cyber before. One of the biggest misconceptions about cybersecurity is that every job involves hacking. The truth is, cybersecurity is a massive industry with dozens of specialties, and IAM happens to be one of the most beginner-friendly paths because it focuses on people, systems, and security rather than advanced coding or hacking skills. Let's break it down in simple terms. What is IAM? Let's start with the basics. IAM stands for Identity and Access Management. It sounds complicated, but it's actually pretty simple. Think about your workplace. Imagine you've hired at a large hospital. On your first day, you receive a badge, email account, a computer login, and access to specific applications that you're going to be doing on the job. You don't receive access to everything. You only receive access to the things that you need to do your job. That is IAM. IAM is the process of making sure that the right people have the right access to the right systems at the right time. That's it. Now here's where things get interesting. Every major company has thousands or even hundreds of thousands of employees. Someone has to manage all those accounts and permissions. That's where IAM professionals come in. Why do companies care so much about IAM? Let's use another example. Imagine giving every employee a master key to every room in the building. Sounds like a terrible idea, right? If someone loses that key, you've got a huge security problem. The same thing happens in technology. If employees have access to systems that they don't need, companies are creating unnecessary risks. This principle is called least privilege. Least privilege simply means giving people only the access they need and nothing more. For example, a nurse doesn't need access to payroll systems. An HR employee doesn't need access to engineering databases. A marketing employee doesn't need administrator access to company servers. IAM teams help enforce these rules. Employers love it because it helps reduce security risks and helps meet compliance requirements. What does an IAM engineer actually do? This is the part nobody talks about. Most people think cybersecurity professionals spend all day fighting hackers. Many IAM engineers spend a large portion of their day helping manage identities and access. For example, an employee joins a company. IAM team creates the account, the IAM team grants the access, the IAM team ensures everything follows security policies. Now imagine that employee leaves the company. The IAM team must quickly remove the access. Why? Because if the access remains active, it becomes a security risk. One forgotten account can become an entry point for attackers. This process is called the identity lifecycle. Think of it like managing access from the moment someone enters your company until the day they leave. What tools do IAM professionals use? Let's keep this beginner friendly. Most IAM engineers work with tools that help automate account management. Common example is Active Directory. Think of Active Directory like a giant digital employee directory. It stores information about users, computers, and permissions. Another common tool is Okta. Think of Okta as a digital security gatekeeper. Instead of remembering dozens of usernames and passwords, users log in once and gain access to approved applications. Companies also use Microsoft Entra ID. This helps organizations manage access to cloud applications and resources. You don't need to master every tool immediately. The only important thing is understanding the concepts behind them. Most beginners make the mistake right here. They focus entirely on tools instead of understanding the business problem. Tools change, the concept stays the same. Why is IAM growing so fast? A few years ago, most companies stored everything inside their office buildings. Today, companies use cloud servers. Employees work remotely. Applications live everywhere. Because of that, identity has become the new security perimeter. In simple English, companies no longer just protect buildings and networks, they protect identities. If an attacker steals an employee's credentials, they may gain access to critical systems. That's why organizations invest heavily in IAM. Every year, companies are creating more applications, more user accounts, and more security requirements. The demand for IAM professionals continue to grow because identities need constant management and protection. Why IAM can be easier to break into. What happens next completely changed my perspective on cybersecurity careers. I realized many cybersecurity jobs require years of networking, operating systems, scripting, and security experience. IAM is different. You can build relevant experience through Active Directory labs, user provisioning exercises, Entra ID environments, identity governance projects, access reviews, simulations. Many IAM tasks are process-driven. That means communication skills, documentation skills, problem-solving skills, and attention to detail become extremely valuable. People coming from customer service, healthcare, retail, logistics, and management often have more transferable skills than they realize. Let's talk about career opportunities. Common IAM-related job titles include IAM Analyst, IAM Admin or Administrator, IAM Engineer, Identity Governance Analyst, PAM Engineer for Privileged Access Management Engineer, Access Management Specialist, and Security Engineer. Like I said before, PAM stands for Privileged Access Management, and think of PAM as protecting the most powerful accounts inside an organization. Because of the responsibility involved, PAM roles often command even higher salaries. Depending on location, experience, and company size, IAM professionals can earn anywhere from $70,000 to $90,000 for entry level, mid-level being $90,000 to $130,000, and senior levels can reaching heights of all the way to $130,000 to $180,000 plus. Skills that employers often look for include Active Directory, Microsoft Entra ID, Okta, access management, identity governance, security fundamentals, basic PowerShell, documentation, and communication. For certifications, beginners can start with things like the Sec Plus from CompTIA, SC300 from Microsoft, and even the Okta Certified Professional. Projects you can build include creating an Active Directory lab, managing users in groups, setting up role-based access controls, implementing least privilege scenarios, and building identity lifecycle workflows. These projects demonstrate real skills employers can actually care about. If IAM sounds interesting, here's what I would do. Step 1, learn cybersecurity fundamentals and understand the basic security concepts and why access control matters. Step 2, build a home lab using Active Directory and Microsoft Entra ID. Step 3, learn how users, groups, and permissions work. Step 4, document your projects, add them to your resume and LinkedIn profile. Step 5, apply for help desk, IT support, IAM analyst, and identity-related roles while continuing to build your skills. Remember, you don't need to know everything before getting started. You just need enough knowledge to solve problems and demonstrate your willingness to learn. If this video helped you understand what IAM is and why it's one of the most promising cybersecurity careers in 2026, make sure you subscribe. Drop a comment below and let me know what cybersecurity role you're interested in pursuing. And if you're serious about transitioning into cybersecurity, join our community. Here at Tech4U, we'll provide roadmaps, labs, projects, and guidance designed to help beginners break into the industry. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.